Hey everyone, welcome to the Checker Chat. I'm Justin.
I'm Blake.
And we are here to recap this weekend NASCAR. Yeah, that's what we do.
This past weekend's
NASCAR races at Texas Motor Speedway. If you've listened to this before, you know that words are hard for me, apparently. But yeah, it was a pretty good race.
Yeah,
all around. Real sad we weren't there, but you can't go to all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, you could, but let's be real.
Looking back, hindsight's 2020. That'd be one I'm not too upset that we missed for the Cup winner side of it.
I mean, true, very true, very true. But yeah, so good race all around. The grass is just out to kill everybody.
Well, when it rains as much as it did,
yeah. Everybody's like, I'm going to touch grass, and then
what the hell?
Yeah. What the hell, Cyrus? But anyways, so this week we had some interesting news come out. I guess the first thing we'll say is Full Speed is now out on Netflix. I have not started it yet.
I haven't either.
I'm excited about it. I saw a clip from it. I'll have it finished probably by the next episode, honestly. So I'll probably just binge it this weekend. Because when it was announced it was coming out, Mal was like, "Oh, I got to watch season 1." And I'm like, I told her today, I'm like, you can just start with season 2.
You can watch season 1 whenever.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not gonna. It's
not anything that's like super like. It's not like watching multiple shows.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's not like trying to. Like season 2 of a show is coming out and you have to go back and watch season 1.
Yeah. We just finished You on Netflix.
Don't spoil anything.
Oh my God.
I think we're on episode 4.
Okay. I'm not going to spoil anything, but if you've watched it, you know it's crazy. The ending of that show was insane. But yeah. Anyways, back to NASCAR. So
back to what we're actually here for.
Yeah, so Full Speed came out this week. Excited about that one. The clip I saw, I think it was of Briscoe, and I didn't know they were going to like highlight him a lot. I mean, I know he was a playoff driver, obviously, but like there was playoff drivers last year that they didn't highlight.
Yeah. I've tried to avoid any clips I've seen on social media. I've seen like the intro thing, I think. But other than that, I'll see it, and I'm like, nope.
Yeah, I think I watched that one, and then after that, I was like, I don't need to see anymore. I don't want it spoiled for me. But it sounds like they do kind of dive into the Stewart-Haas closing.
Yeah, that's what. When I saw Briscoe got his kind of segment of it, I figured that was part of the reason. I mean, on top of winning and going into the playoffs and everything.
I'm sure it'll have that, and then him getting the 19 deal and everything.
Yeah,
it'll be cool. Excited about that one. And then it was officially announced that the championship's going to be a rotating schedule.
Yeah,
by NASCAR, starting with Homestead in Miami.
Then they said Phoenix is still going to be a part of the rotation. Past that, what it sounds like is the only tracks that they're excluding so far are Talladega, Daytona, and Atlanta.
That's lame.
Yeah, but we don't need the one race.
I know, but Atlanta, like...
It's. I love it, but it's still too gimmicky for a one-race playoff.
Fair. I just selfishly want it to be in Atlanta so I can go.
Yeah. I did see on Twitter... when they broke the news of like it's going to be rotating, they said like to be announced for tracks, but then they also kind of made it sound like to be announced that there's going to potentially be changes to the playoff format.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's going to they've got to change something with the playoff format.
I could see, in all honesty, so they're rotating the championship race, right? Mm-hmm. I could see it being 2, maybe 3 race championship round, and those rotate. Which
what
one?
The 3 are?
Yeah.
That would make sense. I mean, that'd be cool. I mean, we need the rest of the playoff rounds are literally they're multiple races. Like they need to make the final round that also.
Well, and I mean, not to sound like a very old-time NASCAR fan, but like by the time you get to the playoffs and you're in it, it almost feels like the regular season never mattered.
Yeah, no, I know.
I mean, like,
know what you mean.
yeah, if you win the regular season championship, you get the bonus points, all that. But, like, not to just absolutely take a dump on Joey Logano like I usually like to, but, I mean, how does that win a championship last year? You were nowhere to be found in the regular season. You get, like, a 6 or 7 overtime dumpster fire of a Nashville race. Mm-hmm. He somehow saves enough gas, barely gets in. If it wasn't for that, he was going to miss it on straight points.
Yeah.
And then he gets in the playoffs and gets hot at the right time, which I know that's good. At least he got hot in the playoffs. But, like,
yeah,
it doesn't reward people that grinded it out. Like, winning is big and winning is good and great and all of that, but, like, I almost feel like there's too much of an emphasis on winning now.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing. You've got, like, for instance, like, Larson should have been in the Final Four last year.
Yeah.
I mean, bottom line, he won, like, what was it, 3 or 4 races?
That sounds right, yeah.
He would have had the regular season championship if he doesn't miss the 600.
Yeah.
So why is he not in the playoff? Or, well, he's in the playoffs. Why is he not in the championship round? He deserves to be.
Right. Because, like, yes, what Joey did in the playoffs earned him the spot. Well, Alex Bowman getting disqualified gave him that championship, honestly.
1,000,
but,
yeah.
Like, still, the other rounds, he did what he needed to do to move on, except for the one round that he lucked out on.
Yep.
But ultimately, last year, and this is just trying to go off memory, but I feel like the championship 4 should have been Larson, Bell, Byron, and Blaney.
Yeah.
Like those were that feels like, without looking at stats, without going back and overanalyzing everything, that feels like the 4 that stood out the most last year.
Yeah, definitely. I think, yeah, because, I mean, you have Bowman, who was in there. That's 1 race win. You have Chase, that was in there, 1 race win.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they were. Actually, you know what? I think you could sub Byron. One spot could be Byron or Denny.
Yeah.
I mean, because remember last season how dominant Denny was at the beginning of the season. I mean, it was like every single race we were watching him win.
Yeah. And, like, Byron kind of typically starts the year off hot, goes on vacation, and then comes back towards the end of the summer starting to get into playoff time. Barely. Is what it feels like.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that is just kind of, it seems like, especially with his team, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
And funny enough to mention Mr. Logano. So last week we talked about, and I'm sure everybody saw it on social media, Chipper Jones going at Joey Logano. After his Texas win, Chipper Jones tweeted, "Congratulations to Joey Logano, a Hall of Fame driver with a masterful win. This is what NASCAR fans expect from you. Hard-charging wins and gracious top 5s and 10s. Well done." So it's nice to see them kind of, well, I mean, them, air quotes. Joey never tweeted back at him.
Well, it wasn't like directly back at him, but he tweeted a picture from Victory Lane wearing a Braves hat with the trophy and was like, "Truce."
Yeah. I did see that. That was funny. I think also I heard that Austin walked into the drivers meeting on
with the Braves hat.
On Monday.
He tweeted that. I think I saw it too.
Okay, I wasn't sure if he tweeted. I heard it on a podcast. That's pretty funny. He should have done it last week, honestly, with the wreath on. Braves hat,
full middle finger.
Yeah, just all right. What do you got to say now? But other than that, we have Corey Heim making a Cup start for 2311 in number 67. Yeah, 67.
Sponsored by Robin Hood.
Yeah.
The highlighter car, honestly.
I mean, it's a cool looking car. Like, it's clean.
Yeah.
I mean, majority of the 2311, minus like the Chumba Casino cars, clean. Like, their schemes are normally really good.
Yeah.
I mean, Bubba's, if I hadn't picked Bubba's Columbia for Atlanta, I would have picked it for this one.
Yeah.
But, keep your eyes on TikTok to see which one I did pick. And then also you got Jesse Love, another RCR start, number 33, C4 Energy.
Green instead of orange accent this time.
Yes, and it feels like they actually spaced out the C4 and the 33 on the car. It actually looks a little bit better.
Yeah.
Wasn't like my absolute least favorite for sure this week, but all the paint schemes this week were kind of mid.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I mean,
all right.
It was a lot of primaries.
Yeah,
is kind of what I thought. Because I mean, I guess you could say Chase's new
prime car.
Prime. Yeah, that's kind of like his. Other than Napa, is like his primary. Now.
Well, it kind of rotates. Like he'll do the prime. He'll do Lumar and
that's
Kelly
true.
Blue Book.
That's true. Yeah,
and they all kind of get the same amount of races outside of Napa.
Yeah.
And then Byron and Hocevar will be running trucks this weekend.
Yes. That's the 07 and the 7, right? I can't remember what numbers it is.
I'm going to double check on that. That does sound right, though.
Yeah, we had a little bit of driver beef going on with
Byron
Hocevar.
in the 07, Hocevar in the 7.
Okay. Yeah, Hocevar and Priest.
Yeah.
Priest kind of calling him out, being like, oh, I don't know who wrecked me, but was it a guy who doesn't respect equipment and all this? And I'm like, man.
I mean, he's going for it.
But
also, like, how many cars did we see, skipping ahead, but how many cars did we see come off turn 2 and just wash up?
Yeah.
And, like, Kevin Harvick talked about it in the booth countless times. Like, that turns flatter than turns 3 and 4. There are more likely to wash up off of 2.
Yeah. And then you also, to add, like, Hocevar is, what, 22, 21?
And he's just known his whole NASCAR career for being aggressive.
Yeah. And then, all right, so you got Ryan Preece, who is not a bad driver by any means, but, I mean...
He's kind of carrying RFK on his back
so far this year. 100%, but, like... Before this year, when has he been in contention?
Right.
Like, Hocevar had, at least last season, a few moments where you're like, okay, this guy's got, like, at least a little bit of speed.
Yeah.
I don't remember that for Ryan Preece last year.
No. And, I mean, some of that probably has to do with Stuart Haas.
That's true. Very true. Very true. But also, I mean, is RFK really bringing much faster cars? I mean, if we're looking at Ryan Preece being the one who's carrying them,
I would say they are bringing faster cars than SHR did last year, because I feel like as a whole, other than Briscoe showing glimpses some weeks, and like RFK, the only dead weight there is Brad Keselowski.
Funny enough.
Yeah, if you're watching, funny enough.
That shirt is washed.
Yeah. But like Buescher hasn't done bad this year. He hasn't done great.
No, I mean, honestly, I think Buescher, I'm saying that more as a joke, not saying like RFK sucks and all this stuff and Ryan Preece sucks. I like Ryan Preece, but
he's all right.
Yeah, I mean, he's NASCAR's resident astronaut, so
or professional bull rider.
Yeah,
if
however you
will.
want to look at it. But to, you got a young driver who has only known this style of racing where it's like
You got to make, you can't, like, you have to make the move when it's there
Yep.
or it's not going to happen.
yeah, and it's like just like, I get it. He's aggressive. It's frustrating. Cut him a break,
Well, and the other thing too is like you can look back even in just mine and your lifetime of NASCAR, the aggressive kid that comes in, nobody likes driver wise. Nobody liked Kevin Harvick that much at first when he first came in. Nobody really cared for Kyle Busch for a while.
Yeah,
I mean,
Ross Chastain.
Yeah,
You can keep going on. I mean, it's Hocevar's the next one that's coming in.
yeah, and I mean, as he gets older, he's gonna tame down a little bit.
Yeah,
he's
I
gonna
mean,
learn
we're seeing
stuff.
that with Ross.
Yeah, and hopefully he can just find the balance of toning it back, but also still being aggressive, just not overly aggressive.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the kid's a good
him.
driver. I like Hocevar.
I mean, he's obviously we're biased. He's reposted some of our stuff on TikTok, but like also too, when me and Lily had VIP garage passes at Atlanta, you're not really supposed to talk to any of them while they're out on the grid for qualifying or anything. He had just parked back up and had got knocked out of the top 10. So I knew they were about to push the car back to the garage. So I walked up to somebody that worked for his team. Was like, hey man, I know like we're not really supposed to interrupt y'all. If I'm crossing the line, just let me know. No problem. Take a step back. But like any chance he'd just come over and say, hey, maybe take a picture. No autograph, no nothing. Just want to say hey and take a picture.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm a fan. He was like, hold on, give me 1 second. And then he went over, talked to Carson, and then Carson's just waving us over and comes up, shakes our hand, asks us how we're doing, takes a picture, tells us have a great weekend.
Yeah, I mean, he's a cool dude. I mean, we've it's funny because like we've sort of crossed paths with him a few times at Atlanta,
like sitting in the grandstands
sitting
watching
in the
race.
grandstands for Xfinity. It was last fall Xfinity, I think.
Yeah.
He came up and sat probably 2 or 3 rows over from us, if even.
Yeah.
And then we passed him coming into the infield too.
Yeah.
I think he was driving I don't want to get him in trouble. I don't know what kind of car he was driving.
The rental car.
The rental car, some form of SUV. Yeah, I don't know, he's probably going to get breakfast or something. I don't know what he was doing. But yeah, no, I mean, he's just, it seems like a cool guy. Real up and coming guy. I mean, I think he's going to have a good career. I think once we get past every single driver having to say something about him,
right?
But what's up with us in the long news segment?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's been the past 2 weeks. But that wraps up for news. This was only 4 points. I'm going to let y'all know in the notes, and it ended up being however long this was. But we had a truck race on Friday night. What went down?
So, in total, the truck race got 11 cautions, which is the most for a truck race this season. Not shocking, honestly.
No,
Texas is not an easy track.
Yeah, no. I mean, they said on the broadcast, I think it was last year, they didn't even get through lap 1 without a caution coming out.
Yeah. But so stage winners were Grant Enfinger won stage 1, Corey Heim won stage 2. And then some of the notable incidents, like we were talking about with the grass, Giovanni Ruggiero, clips the front stretch grass, which I believe it wasn't even the first time that he'd clipped it. He was kind of playing with fire about how far down he could go. And then it just caught the truck and shot it up the track, hit Honeycutt, and then collected Brandon Jones. And somehow Stuart Friesen spins out but saves it and never hits anything.
Yeah.
Which that was just a product of how much rain was there and the grass was tall. And I mean, that's always...
Yeah.
I mean, I remember Dale Jr., I think it was at Texas one time, had a great car early on in the race, blew any shot he had at the race because he got in the grass and it took the front end off.
No, the grass and then the bump in, I think it's in 3 and 4.
Yeah.
That just took.
Which they ended up for the Cup race cutting the grass down.
Oh, I guess you're right. Yeah.
They cut the grass shorter.
Yeah, I was about to say, I watched the Cup race on my iPad while we were cleaning stuff. So up until like probably the last stage, and I didn't notice that at first. But yeah, no, that I mean, it needed to be cut.
Yeah,
it was bad, obviously.
Some other. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. I was about to say, just because common theme around truck and Xfinity is the grass. Is kind of what gets a lot of people.
Yeah. Other incidents. Lap 52, Lane Riggs got loose underneath Ty Majeski, slides up into him. Both get a little bit of damage. Nothing. I don't think it was anything too crazy looking back on it. Then a couple laps later, Carson Hocevar pits for the first time to swap the battery in the truck.
How many times did he end up pitting for that?
2.
2. I thought I was.
Well, I think it was 2. It was either 2 or 3.
Okay.
Andres, I'm just going to call him Andres Perez because I'm pretty sure that's what they say on the broadcast, and I don't want to butcher your name, sir. So he spins from contact with Nick Sanchez on the restart, backs the truck into the wall. Truck was pretty destroyed. Lane Riggs sees a hole, shoots it, makes it 3 wide on the front stretch. Luke Fenhouse doesn't run every week, probably just a spotter driver miscommunication, not used to it. Kind of just came down like he wasn't there. That forced Lane Riggs into the grass where he slid sideways for a while, and it was like, it's not going to, and then it straightens out, and it just shoots the truck up in the air and rips the nose off.
It's just like they hit the grass, and it's like a bomb went off. Like,
well, it's just how low the nose of all the cars are. Because when they, like him, he slid sideways, nothing was going to happen. But the second it straightened out and the nose dug in, it was over.
Yeah. Just completely rips it up.
Okay. It looks like, so lap 140, Hocevar pits again. And this time, this is what took him out of the race. I don't honestly know if it wasn't for this, if he had anything for Corey Heim. But this is just what took him out of even a second place finish. Yeah. He had to pit from second to change the battery, which some people, I forget who it was in the booth that said it. It might have been Joey, but they were like, why didn't in the stage break they just go ahead and replace the battery so there was a fresh one that would last hopefully the whole last stage. Yeah. Hindsight's 2020. They probably also thought about that, but like, you also don't want to give track position up.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know. It was just kind of a bad spot to be in.
I feel like this has just been the season of batteries. Like,
yeah.
I don't remember it. Granted, if this is your first episode watching, little bit about me. Grew up watching NASCAR, not like die hard, but would watch it with my dad.
Yeah.
Last season was the first season I watched pretty much all the way through, minus the Daytona 500, because I went to Atlanta and then was hooked after that.
Right.
But last season, I don't remember there being this many battery issues.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it was just a few weeks ago at
Martinsville that Penske and Wood Brothers were running through them. And
then, I mean, left and right.
DNQ'd Cindric because they were out of batteries to replace.
Like, I'd never thought about these cars having a battery. Like, that was, But, yeah, it just feels like it's been the season of screwed up batteries.
Yeah. And then Frankie Muniz makes heavy contact with outside wall in turns 1 and 2, ends his day. That was lap 147.
Malcolm finally ran in the top 20 for a little bit.
I was about to say he was having
probably the best day he has had.
Yeah.
Racing trucks.
Right.
Like, it was crazy.
Lap 155, Stuart Friesen gets loose under Grant Enfinger. They were battling for second at the time. Both end up getting in the wall and then collecting Chandler Smith in the process. That ended up resulting in a red flag. Then lap 163, the final caution, Jake Garcia, Connor Mosack they just crash in turn 2, get into each other, which set up for the late race run to the checkered, and Corey Heim ended up being your winner. Hocevar got the fastest lap, which ultimately means nothing because he's not a regular.
Other than he was fast.
Yeah. So other than Corey Heim, the rest of your top 10 was Daniel Hemrick finished second. Rajah Caruth finished third. Love to see that. Good finish for him.
Let's go.
Tyler Ankrum finished fourth, having a strong season so far. Tanner Gray was fifth. Ben Rhodes sixth. Matt Crafton, his grandpa having... Never mind. He finished seventh. Bailey Curry finished eighth, who also is having a pretty good season so far. Dawson Sutton was ninth. Good finish for small-time team. And Ty Majeski was 10th.
Yeah. That, man, it's hard going into, like, when we do picks to not pick Corey.
Right.
I mean, it's like he is just... minus the bad luck he's had this season with a few races.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have won every single one of them.
Yeah.
It's like...
And I feel like that's what's hard about picking him is, like, also the bad luck. Like,
is he going to dominate or is he going to DNF? Like,
yeah.
You know, it's one
Or
of
is he going to dominate and some weird fluky thing is going to happen that takes him out, like his truck shutting off at Homestead.
Yeah.
He still finished really good, but if his truck doesn't shut off, there's no way that Larson wins that race or anybody else has a shot.
No, 100%. It's nuts. I mean, he's just he needs to, either move up to Xfinity or I don't think he needs to go straight to Cup, but there's some people who would probably say differ from that. But yeah, that's about it.
I don't think a year of Xfinity would hurt him, but also, I mean, honestly, Hocevar skipped Xfinity.
Yeah, no, I mean, I could see
and Hocevar, while he was very good, was a lot less dominant than Corey Heim.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing. He's a 2311 development driver, so I'm curious, like, because this isn't his first Cup start, is it?
No.
Okay, I was about to say I didn't think so. I just couldn't remember.
It'll be interesting to see what they do with their driver lineup and how they're ever going to fit him in because they can't expand to a 4-car team, and they have 3. So I don't know. We've talked about it before, but you can't get rid of Reddick.
Yeah, no.
And then it's between Bubba and it's between Riley Herbst. And then that sucks because it's either cut somebody's career short or give somebody the boot because you think somebody's better than them.
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't be the first time.
No.
But,
for either of those, really. But
I mean, I don't know. I still think Riley hasn't shown enough to show me that he necessarily deserves the 2311 spot.
Yeah.
This in Cup, at least. But I'm not saying to send Corey Heim there next year.
Yeah. I think a year of Xfinity would be good just for being able to kind of give Riley another year.
Yeah.
Because, you could have easily overreacted about Hocevar last year and been like,
true.
Oh, this guy's
awful. Bye.
He was not ready. Send him back down. So, I mean, maybe that's the best plan.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe it's going to be 2-3 years from now before he makes it to Cup, and then that's when, Denny retires and he ends up going to JGR.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. No, I mean that, or they send Reddick goes to, there could be a change of somebody from 2311 goes JGR, Corey Hunt.
Yeah.
There's a lot that could happen.
I mean, also, 2311 could have an open car.
Yeah.
I mean, because they could easily probably have speed to qualify every single week.
That's fair.
If they want it. But the thing is, if there's any team that's going to put that much money into that, it would be 2311. I think.
I don't know. Denny did talk about when they had the whole run what you bring all-star idea pitch. They were one of the main ones that shot it down for money reasons.
Yeah. And then
NASCAR told him he was wrong.
Yeah, Elton Sawyer's going to go and say, yeah, we never really said it was a do whatever you want, But
Yeah.
that's beside the point. So that about wraps up truck. Xfinity. Again, the grass was trying to kill everybody.
Yeah.
It needed to be cut. I don't understand why it wasn't cut before they got there for the truck race. But
Well, I think ultimately, if there was no rain, that the
It wouldn't
height of
have
the
been
grass
that
wouldn't.
bad,
Yeah.
yeah.
They just reacted too late, like NASCAR normally does on things.
Typical. So one thing that I kind of noticed with this race, and it almost just seems like every race that has Larson running in it in the Xfinity series, the only car that seems to ever have hardly anything for him, and not saying at this race it was necessarily, because by the time Larson gets up pretty much to the lead, Justin Allgaier's out.
Yeah.
But he's like the only one who seems to actually have anything for Larson when he comes down to Xfinity.
Yeah. I mean, which makes sense.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. I mean, Allgaier is probably the most experienced in Xfinity.
That runs every week, he is the
Yeah.
most experienced. And overall, I think he's the best Xfinity driver, like with how well-rounded he is everywhere.
Just all around, for sure. I agree with that.
Because he's not a super speedway merchant. He's not a road course ringer. He doesn't only show up at 1.5 miles or short tracks. He kind of, there's a shot he's going to win everywhere you go.
Seriously. So Allgaier wins stage 1. Stage 2, Austin Hill wins, which was his first non-drafting stage win of the year.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You get a gold star.
Super Speedway merchant. So in the first stage, you had Sammy Smith barely misses the grass. I don't know why I wrote this like this. What happened?
Gibberish is here?
What gibberish was written down here?
I'm assuming that he barely missed the grass and spins out and brings the first caution.
I think.
But for everyone at home listening that is curious, I'll read this word for word. Sammy Smith barely missed that grass, hit spin out in the first caution.
I'm giving a thumbs up for those who are just listening to this. Yeah, so something happened with Sammy Smith. We don't remember what.
He had a hit spin out in the first caution.
Something to do with the grass. The grass was out to kill everybody. And then stage 1, Allgaier wins. I kind of feel bad for Chris Wright, just a little bit. I feel like he just can't win. I mean, not saying he can't win a race, because we know he can't. But
he can't even finish a race without doing something stupid.
Because I said Chris Wrights, and goes into the wall. So he spun out. If I remember correctly, it was kind of near the bump in 3 and 4. That bump was also. We'll get into why that bump pissed me off this weekend.
Speaking of Chris Wright, though, did you see the clip from Door Bumper Clear this week where in the call-in section somebody was like, I have a great idea for the All-Star race this year. Elton Sawyer has a red button, and he can press it whenever he wants, and we let Chris Wright out there and run free and see how many cars he can destroy.
Yeah, see how many times he can go into pit road at Mock Jesus.
Or just try to take every car out.
Yeah, all of a sudden.
What happens first? Every car gets wrecked or we finish the race?
Yeah. Oh, my God.
That was too funny not to throw in this scenario.
Yeah. No, I mean, this guy.
I'm sure he's a great guy.
Great guy, probably.
Not a great race car driver.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember back, it was Daytona?
Where he almost killed. I forget who it was. I think it was Josh Bilicki. driving the 91.
Yeah, because it was the Rita's car.
Yeah, I mean, just tried to enter pit road at 135, 100 and whatever miles an hour, went under the back of him. It was just... Then try to blame it on a spotter, even though the spotter doesn't...
Yeah, when I say that Chris Wright righted, yeah, that's a new thing, is Chris writing something.
Yeah.
So, literally the next thing, Chris Wright once again spins out in front of Allgaier from the grass, is what he spun out on. I'm really Chris writing words right now, and ends up ending Allgaier's day. Allgaier ended up stuck in the grass, and the car was just destroyed. So
shout out Chris Rice for
Chris
absolutely
Rice. Chris Rice, is that what you just
sure
said? We can run clip it.
He absolutely ruined any shot of Larson not winning the race.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Because to that point, at least in that moment, Allgaier looked like he was probably the favorite.
Yeah, no, seriously. I mean, once again, Chris Wright. Chris righted. He's the one that every driver should be calling out, not Hocevar. Xfinity, you Xfinity veterans. I know none of you are watching this, but start calling him out. Hey, go back to ARCA. Do something, because you're literally causing issues almost every single week.
Close enough. Welcome back, Danica Patrick.
Oh my god. Yeah, let's next time you think about calling out Catherine Legg, call this guy out instead. Like,
literally.
Please do it. Another thing that was interesting about this race was anytime it seemed like anybody got out of the main racing groove, immediate spin out.
Yeah.
I mean, you watch,
because there were kind of two lanes running, but if you got too high in the second lane, it was over.
Yeah, I mean, you have Jeremy Clemens. Yeah, I think that's his first name. Clemens, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Goes completely ass first into the wall from spinning out. I mean, it ripped out. It looked like they opened his trunk. Like,
yeah,
it was crazy. Which that happens in overtime, the patented Xfinity overtime.
Literally.
So we had a double overtime for the ending of this race, and Kyle Larson having newer tires and him being Kyle Larson, he wins the race.
Yeah, which honestly shouldn't be super shocking because, you know, I think honestly, like I said last week, the 17 car he normally runs is kind of sort of a JRM affiliate. They share notes of some sorts. They do, you know, all that kind of stuff.
All the motors.
Yeah,
JRM,
but like putting him in a true JRM car, honestly, call me crazy, it was a bit of a letdown. He did not dominate the race like I honestly thought that he should have.
That's true. I think also it could be kind of how last minute it was.
Yeah,
a little bit, but
like also he's ran Xfinity a couple times this year.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And you're getting in a better car than the one that you've been running and that you've won in.
And really, how different is the Hendrick Xfinity to JRM? If we're going to be honest,
it's probably not super different. The JRM one's just definitely better.
Yeah,
because that's what they do.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. Okay.
I wonder if anyone will be able to hear this. I don't know. Anyways, so top 10 was Kyle Larson, obviously, Taylor Gray, Riley Herbst, Austin Hill, Sam Mayer, Harrison Burton, another top 10 for him. Dude's just nailing top 10s the past few weeks is what it seems like. Jesse Love, Ryan Sieg, Brandon Jones, and Jeb Burton. Which is good for him to come back in after last week in Dega.
I mean, even though he finished second, but...
Well, I'm more so after him being like, I won that race. Yeah. All of that heartbreak, as they like to say.
Yeah. And the good thing too with the top tens, we see that Riley Herbst has a good job waiting on him. If 2311 decides to go another way, he can actually run good there.
Yeah, I mean,
not throwing shade at him. I actually like him. But
yeah. I mean, seems like a cool kid. But yeah, I'm curious. This is something interesting because we talked about Corey Heim, we talked about trucks, we talked about Xfinity and all that. Talking about Larson, which he was driving for Zillage. I would love to see. I don't know if there would be like Vegas odds on this or anything, but who gets to Cup quicker, Zillage or Corey Heim?
Zillage.
I think so too. I think his affiliation with Trackhouse.
I think, and I like Daniel Suarez, and I think he's a little overhated, and people think he's worse than he actually is. But he signed a 1-year deal.
Yeah, almost.
I honestly see. It's a lot easier for me to see them kicking him to the curb and welcoming Zillage in than bringing him back again.
Yeah, I could see that. But, I mean, who knows? I mean, I just wonder.
Yeah. I mean, off pure talent and everything, it's close.
Yeah.
But, like, affiliations with teams, I think getting to Trackhouse is going to be easier than getting to 2311.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, that wraps up Xfinity. Then on Sunday, we had a Cup race, which was a fun race.
It's funny, honestly, how everyone, including me, was ready to send bulldozers and tear Texas Motor Speedway to the ground before the next gen car, and then now all of a sudden it's good again.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, honestly, that was a really good 1.5 mile race.
Yeah.
That was one of the better 1.5 like races
of
the recent memory for me.
I agree.
I mean, you could pass.
Mm-hmm.
There was racing.
Yeah.
It was refreshing.
Yeah, it definitely was. It was, just all around was a good race.
And they had their highest attendance in like 15 years. They were showing like the overhead shot. Mm-hmm. And I mean, grandstands looked full. Parking lot was insane. I mean, could that be a race that's thrown into the championship mix now?
Yeah, I mean, I could see it.
I wouldn't be mad at it.
Yeah, no. I agree. I mean, it's a track that like the leaders have. I mean, when was the last time you watched someone who's leading a race having to work their ass off to
not wreck, but
to just not wreck.
Yeah.
Not get passed, just not get wrecked.
Yeah.
Like, if we're going to be honest, I mean, it's been a minute.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I bumped the mic. I think I've realized that if I do bump the mic, it doesn't really pick up as much as I thought it does. Because
I think it's more of if you hit the arm.
But I think last week I listened to it, and when I did that, I didn't even really notice it. Like, maybe a little bit, but either way, if that was loud, sorry. Now, back to the Cup race.
So, stage winners. Austin Cindric wins stage 1.
Let's go.
Larson wins stage 2. Larson winning stage 2, he now has more stage wins than anyone else in Cup Series history with 68. And he also has more Texas stage wins than anyone else at 6.
That's interesting. Did not know that.
The more you know.
The more you know.
Incidents. Lap 20, Noah Gragson spins out from 20th. He got loose trying to pass Daniel Suarez on the outside, lost the car, no real damage. Lap 75, the highlight of the race, Denny Hamlin blows up into a huge fire and spins out, which, if you were on social media, a lot of people said, don't mess with Texas because he walked out and gave the horns down and driver intros.
And then Riley Herbst did it and nobody cared.
Oh, he did it?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
Nobody couldn't have cared less that he did it. Yeah. But Denny got like a ton of hate for it.
Well, Denny gets booed no matter what he does.
Yeah, and I mean everybody knows his Ohio State bandwagon stuff with last year.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was I think when that happened, Blake texted me and said, "Let's go, Denny's car is burning to the ground." That was nuts. I mean, because you saw the fire and stuff, and then it wasn't until he like really stopped that it started to fill with smoke. Also too, you could see like where it blew, and then it just snapped the car sideways. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious does Progressive have NASCAR car fire coverage?
They need it after this one.
Yeah, they do, apparently. They should make an ad out of that. That'd be funny.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Lap 88, Chase Briscoe spins off turn 4, clipping Riley Herbst, who honestly at that point had been running probably the best he had been running all season, Riley Herbst.
Yeah, no, I mean, he was running, what was it, top 15?
Yeah, right around there. Top 20 for sure, right around top 15. Lap 125, Josh Berry spins from the lead off turn 4, backs into the wall, picks up a good bit of damage. And honestly, if he doesn't wreck there, I think he probably was the best car on the track. Yeah, I mean, my dad texted me and was like, how do you lead a race and then just spin out with nobody around you? Yeah. It's that bump. Yeah, and how hard these cars are. Like, it's literally just the track. Yeah. Which like, oh, sorry. No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead. With Barry, like, he cut his teeth and really came up short track racing. And then now all of a sudden this year, he's like the guy at mile and a halfs. It feels like, well, like your cookie cutter mile and a half shaped ones. Yeah. Because he won Vegas. And then he looked like he was on for another one this Sunday. Yeah. And, I mean, jumping ahead a little bit, we already know who won because of the news, but I don't think that in any way, shape, or form I would believe you if you told me at the beginning of the season that Ryan Blaney would be winless. And Josh Berry would have already won. Cindric would have already won. Penske's, yeah. Logano would have already won. And then it's just Blaney. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. It is. And it's not anything like Blaney's definitely better than all the rest of them, but it's just, I mean. He's just had terrible luck this season. Yeah. I mean, they can't keep a car together to the end of the race, unfortunately, is what it feels like. Whether it be an engine blowing up or being involved in some kind of wreck. Yeah. But his is coming, I think. Yeah. I mean. Yeah, I agree. Lap 162, towards the end of stage 1, there's a debris caution from Chris Buescher's literal whole tire, basically. Yeah, going flying off. I think that ended up helping him, honestly. Yeah, no, I agree. And then on the restart of lap 172 on the restart, Bubba Wallace bounces off the wall coming off turn 2 and spins down the backstretch, triggering a large multi-car accident that took out AJ Allmendinger, Alex Bowman, Noah Gragson, and Chad Fincham. Now, let's be honest about this. Bowman probably would have been fine if it wasn't for Chad Fincham, who just, after everybody is like stopped and he's still just arc break of the century right into Bowman. I was like, man, come on. Oh, Lily was done. Oh, I bet she's Chad Fincham's #1 hater after that one. Honestly, she definitely is. Yeah. Lap 219, Jesse Love spins down the backstretch by himself, hits the inside wall. A lot of loose. Yeah. I mean, also kind of like not super surprising with him having limited experience and everything.
No, I agree. Very true.
And then the moment of Sunday where I think that...
Yeah, this bump, it's on sight when I see that thing. Because just as soon as the booth is like,
oh my, Kevin
Kyle
Harvick.
Busch can't wait to get this car back in victory lane. Not even a half a second later, he is spinning out from this bump, hits the wall, immediately just goes to pit road.
Somehow, Ricky Stenhouse doesn't just get obliterated in the course of that.
I mean, it would have been funny,
but
considering the All-Star race last year.
But like Kevin Harvick barely finished saying about Kyle Busch.
I wish it was timed. Point, like literally
snap.
Less than 1 second. Less than a second.
Definitely.
Him finishing that statement, he's in the wall.
And I mean, they had the perfect camera angle too, because they were talking about him. And that one was bad.
Yeah, that's
up there for announcer jinxes.
Yeah, literally. I mean, just stop talking about him, please. And he might win.
Debatable.
You're making him nervous. That's what you're doing. You let that 7-Eleven car be in victory lane.
Free Slurpees for everyone.
Yes, please. Even though there's no 7-Elevens near us, but
yeah.
Either way.
And then the incident we spoke on earlier, lap 237, Priest and Hocevar make contact off 2, get into the wall, and then Cody Ware felt left out, so he had to wreck too.
Yeah,
he wanted somebody to talk about him that day. We all forget he's there sometimes.
He said, "I'm different because I have gold on my car.
I'm gonna wreck by myself. I don't need help. Watch me."
Yeah. Yeah. He said, "People stop talking about my gold wheels. We'll talk about him, buddy. We'll talk about him next week on the paint scheme thing because I'm sure it's not going to be good."
Lap 247, Brad Keselowski spins off turn 2, triggering a multi-car incident that also takes out Ty Dillon, Cole Custer. Kyle Busch gets in another one, and Austin Cindric.
Buddy. Brad. You've been through the car wash. I'll leave it at that.
It might be time to start thinking about opening up a seat for somebody else.
And just step into the ownership role. I mean, no hate. You have a fantastic career.
But I honestly don't know if, it looks this way now, but
who knows?
Make some personnel changes. Do something.
I mean, that's the
you
thing.
own the place. Give somebody else Jeremy Bullins, or I think that's your crew chief right now.
He did change crew chiefs this season.
Yeah,
and it's just something. But it's
get Rodney Childers.
Please do something, because you don't, prove me wrong, please. I want you to.
I finally came around to liking Brad Keselowski. And then now it's just why? Why did I ever it was cool last year. He won at Darlington in that awesome Castrol car, but this, oh my god, this year is awful. This is Kyle Busch on steroids.
Yeah, no, it's extra bad. At least
he's almost dead last in points for people that have run every week.
I think there's only 3.
Cody Ware's behind him for sure.
Cody Ware, Riley Herbst, and one other is behind him, I think. But yeah, I mean, Riley Herbst is literally 1 point behind him.
So Brad is 32nd in driver points. Mm-hmm. Riley Herbst is 33rd. Cole Custer is 34th. SVG is 35th, and Cody Ware is 36th.
Yep. So
you've got 2 rookies, Cole Custer, and somebody that really doesn't belong in the NASCAR Cup Series that you're beating.
Yeah.
Congrats. Congratulations.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully, I mean, that's the thing. He could go and turn it around next week.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. I think that they are bringing a fast car to these tracks.
Yeah.
Most weeks. But
At least the other two RFKs are most of the time.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't. Like I said, I think that he could turn it around very quickly. But next deal is lap 254. Reddick spins off of Suarez's nose and slides through turn 1. Again, aero and loose cars.
Well, this one was almost like Suarez was running the low line and Reddick kind of tried to like arc the whole dogleg trioval situation. And rather than waiting till he was cleared, just came down and Suarez was already almost in the grass. There was nowhere he could go. So, I mean, hate to break it to him, but, I mean, you're not going to lift in that situation. Like, it's not Suarez's fault.
No, not at all. And then, you know, we had someone who we've talked about in the past on this podcast, too. We've been like, hey, where's he been? He was in the front this week. Michael McDowell. Yeah. Michael McDowell led a good bit of the last stage of this race.
Yeah. On strategy, too, like hanging out there on 2 tires.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't think it was going to last as long as it did.
Yes. Definitely. So he ends up just kind of fading, and then Logano passes him, then Blaney passes him. When Blaney passes him, I listened to an interview with him this week, and he kind of it was like almost just trying too hard.
Yeah.
And he was like, I should have just settled with my top 5 that I would have had moved on, but instead he goes into the wall.
Because, I mean, as soon as Blaney passed him and slid up and it took the air off the front of McDowell's car, it was over.
Yeah. And then you saw Ross Chastain ends up passing Blaney after the restart on this. Would have been cool to see that car, that black and purple Tootsie's car. That was that's what he was running. I don't know why I questioned myself in victory lane, but ended up where Joey Logano won his first race and got his first top 5 of the season.
Which, I mean, in perfect Joey Logano fashion, he doesn't show up until the very end and then kind of...
I mean, he led, 5-10 laps?
The first time he took the lead, and again, I like McDowell. This isn't dumping on McDowell. This isn't, whatever, but, like... Really, that's who you had to pass for the win was somebody on really old tires and then 2 tires that were also getting old.
Yeah.
Like, congrats.
Yeah.
I mean, Blaney might have had a shot if it wasn't for McDowell trying to preserve second with his life, which, I mean, he had every right to do, but...
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it feels like a waste of my time on Sunday when I watch a good race and then Joey Logano somehow wins.
Yeah. Don't get us wrong. We love races, and
oh yeah,
but it get frustrating. Apparently, we don't like guys who win. Apparently,
so it would seem on social media.
Yeah, or at Dega with the guys behind us.
Yeah.
Who?
Oh my God.
He must not like guys who win.
Why is everybody booing Joey Logano? They don't like guys that win too much. Shut up.
Yeah,
that's not really it.
But your top 10 was Joey Logano, Ross Chastain, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson, Eric Jones, interesting. Ricky Stenhouse, interesting. Actually, majority of this top 10.
I was about to say
Austin Dillon, who I think has his 3rd top 10 this week.
This year?
No, this week was his 3rd in a row.
Oh.
I think.
He did get a top 10 at Dega, I remember. I don't remember about before Dega.
I think the week.
It doesn't sound wrong, honestly.
Yeah. John Hunter Nemechek, another one. Christopher Bell, expected. Daniel Suarez. I'm going to say interesting, but
not as
really
shocking as some of the others.
Not as shocking as Eric Jones and Ricky Stenhouse.
Well, I was about to say Eric Jones and John Hunter Nemechek, both Legacy Motor Club cars get a top 10.
That's true.
Eric Jones gets a top 5. Eric Jones looked good at the end of that race. Ricky Stenhouse, I mean, he shows up every now and then and reminds you that he's good.
Yeah, or he's at least decent. Can't learn to upload his paint scheme to the NASCAR app, apparently. I don't know why that is, but, it's not like... I mean, the teams that are literally in a lawsuit with NASCAR can get them uploaded, and you can't. Why is that? Did I pick you for my least favorite? I was going to pick you for my most favorite this week. Most favorite, least favorite. Yeah, that makes sense. Anyways, that wraps up Cup for this week. We're going to give you guys just a little bit of playoff standings for now. This year's playoff standings are pretty interesting.
Yeah, because we have 7 winners so far. So your winners, Bell has won
3.
Larson's won 2. Hamlin's won 2. That's your top 3. And then 4 through 7 all have 1 win, and that's Byron, Logano, Cindric, and Barry. And then for people on points, no wins, Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick, Ryan Blaney finish out the top 10. And then 11 through 16 is Bubba Wallace, Alex Bowman, Ross Chastain, Chris Buescher, Chase Briscoe, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Yeah, so that's interesting to me. I mean, like, all of them kind of make sense until you get to Ricky.
Yeah, like Chase, Reddick, and Blaney being the highest up on just sole points right now makes sense. They're 3 very consistent drivers.
Yeah.
Bubba's had a pretty solid year. That makes sense. Bowman's been very consistent. Makes sense. Ross might be a little bit of a shock, but he's also 13th, so it's not like super crazy.
I feel his is, I mean, obviously, it's just been stage.
Yeah. Buescher makes sense. I mean, like we said earlier, him and Priest have been doing pretty good this year in RFK. Briscoe, no shock there. Step up in equipment. In on points. Last year he had to win.
Yeah.
Stenhouse is a shock. And then as much as we talk about how awful Kyle Busch's luck and everything is, he's only 12 points out in 17th.
Yeah, and the only person he has to beat is Ricky Stenhouse to be above the cut line right now.
Which some new people win. It gets a little fuzzier for him. Hocevar is in 18th, 21 points down. Priest is in 19th, 23 points down. And AJ Allmendinger is also 23 points down in 20th.
How?
Stages, and I think I mean, this isn't to take away from AJ Allmendinger, but there are 36 full-time drivers in the Cup Series. So he's not top half. He's almost top half.
Yeah, that's
so.
true.
I mean, that kind of makes sense for the finishes he's had this year.
I get that for sure. But yeah, no, I mean, definitely a little bit different looking of a cut line picture this year. Minus like Kyle Busch. I mean, he was like right there on the cut line last year.
Yeah.
But seeing Hocevar up there, seeing Priest up there, pretty cool. I mean, I could see Hocevar or Priest winning a race.
Yeah.
And punching their ticket.
And then like the other wild card too is like, let's say SVG wins a road course. That screws everything up.
Oh my God. Yeah, you're right.
Brad Keselowski puts together a great weekend and wins. Like Noah Gragson wins somewhere. Like any of those people lower down on points that win is just going to shake everything up.
Yeah, it really will.
It's already an interesting playoff picture to look at now. So just moving forward, when you get a surprise win or two that I could see happening this year, that's when it's going to get really fun and interesting.
Yeah. No, it's shaping up to be a really cool playoffs this season. Yeah. So, on to Kansas. So we got our past next gen winners. So you guys who have listened before know how this typically goes. We'll give our picks. First name I say is spring, second one's fall. So 2022, you had Kurt Busch and Bubba Wallace.
Both in the 45 car.
I did not know that. That's nuts. I don't know.
Because, so, that was the year that Kurt Busch had the wreck at Pocono and couldn't finish the year.
Mm-hmm.
So, for driver point purposes, they swapped around who ran what number. So, Bubba went to Kurt, and then that's when Ty Gibbs stepped up and ran the 23 monster car to end the year.
Okay. Wow, that's interesting. I did not know that. Like I said, guys, I've only been a real diehard fan for the past
year and
a
some
half.
change.
Yeah. 2023, you had Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick. 2024, this is where things get different, and it's not a Toyota winning. You had Larson and Chastain. Really feels like Kansas is a Toyota playground.
Yeah.
I mean, at least prior to last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we'll get into some picks.
Yeah.
Do you want to do the same way we did last week, where we each do each series?
Yeah.
That works. You start off.
All right. Truck, I'm going to pick Daniel Hemrick this week. He's had a really solid year. And, I mean, like last week, mile and a half, he was runner-up to Corey Heim.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's kind of a gut feeling.
Yeah. That's
also with Heim's luck, I just don't know how feasible back-to-back is right now.
Yeah. Well, I'm throwing luck into the win and saying Corey Heim wins in Kansas for
Very
truck.
high possibility.
Yep. He just runs. He's just too dominant to not go with him.
Heim time.
Heim time.
Heim time all the time.
So who you got on Cup?
William Byron.
Okay. We're thinking in two different camps.
Yeah. He needs a win. This would be good because, like I said earlier, I feel like he comes on strong in the beginning, gets a few wins under his belt. Maybe they try different stuff. I don't know. But he kind of is MIA for a while. Runs okay. And then comes back. This would be good to kind of break that streak and then solidify him in the conversation where, like last year and I think even the year before, where it was like, okay, well, Bell and Byron need to cross the threshold they're at and emerge as championship favorites.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I could see him going there and winning. I mean,
2 Chevys won last year.
Mm-hmm.
Hendrick's running pretty good right now. I feel like Byron's kind of due.
Yeah, I agree. So for my pick, I went with Bubba Wallace. Again, I'm going just with the years before a Toyota driver that I feel like is due for a win.
I was about to say, it's pretty much the same argument, except for mine was on the Chevy side, yours is on the Toyota side.
Same exact one. Anything else for this week?
How do you think, what's your prediction for Corey Heim? Does he finish lead lap? Does he finish top 20? Like, what are we thinking?
I mean, I think he wins because I picked him for truck.
No, Cup.
Oh,
sorry.
Okay,
sorry.
my bad.
I needed to be more clear.
Yeah. I think top 20, top 25.
I think just a lead lap finish is a good, solid day. I could see top 20.
Yeah, I agree.
Jesse Love, I hope gets a lead lap finish.
Mm-hmm.
That would be good all around.
Yeah,
I like both of them. I hope they both do well. And honestly, they're like the next phase to come up to the Cup Series.
Yeah, they're the next guys for sure. But we got to wrap it up. This has been the Checkered Chat. You guys can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Audible. And we will see you guys next week after Kansas. Bye.